You're listening to The Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Gulseth.
Thanks to Concordia University Wisconsin for your support of The Coffee Hour. Find out more about Concordia University Wisconsin at cuw.edu.
Live uncommon.
We're going north today.
Very, very north and west.
I think this is the farthest north and probably the farthest west.
Oh.
We've been in Hawaii before.
Yeah.
That's a little further west, isn't it?
I think so.
Depends on... I don't know.
Geography.
Geography, not my strength. Today, we're going to Eielson Air Force Base in Alaska. Joining us today, Chaplain Amadeus Gandy, LCMS Chaplain at Eielson Air Force Base. Chaplain Gandy, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Good morning.
Well, it has been a while since we talked. I think last time we talked, was it our Happy Hobby series?
It was the Happy Hobby series.
So we talked about
bodybuilding. That was great.
And you were just, I think, in the first steps of serving as a chaplain. I think maybe it might have just started.
Yeah.
So paint that picture for us. Help us understand what that journey to chaplaincy was all about.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we did talk last, I believe I was still a reservist. So I entered into the Air Force chaplaincy right after vicarage, which I served at Shepherd of the City in Fort Wayne. And I entered into the chaplaincy as a candidate. So if you didn't know, the military offers a candidate program while you're attending seminary. That candidate program allows you to really kind of assess your candidacy for the military chaplaincy. And so you'll go to officer training school. And if they have any schooling throughout the summers of your seminary time, you'll go to those schoolings, you'll visit some bases and just assess, is this your niche? Can you serve in this capacity? And so you serve that time until you graduate seminary, you're ordained, and then they reappoint you from the candidate program into the reserve corps. And while you're a reservist, you can choose to either serve in a traditional reservist capacity, that 1 week in a month, 2 weeks in a summer drill time as a chaplain, or you can become a IMA reservist, which is an individual mobilized augmentee reservist, and you backfill active duty chaplains and active duty Air Force bases, which is what I did. And so right before coming on active duty, they called me up on IMA reserve orders to Alaska to backfill for 6 months. And then at the same time, my active duty assessment was going through, and that dropped, or that cleared, that went through. And so they allowed me to just stay up here in Alaska right after that. So that's how I got to where I am today. Interior Alaska.
How long have you actually been in Alaska then?
So this October will be 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's been that long already.
We, especially those in interior Alaska, there is a difference, by the way, between interior Alaska and Anchorage. So we are the real Alaskans up here. And we count our time up here by winters. So this will be our, we'll have 3 winters under us before we leave. So we're leaving our second winter right now.
Okay. All right. So describe where you actually are in Alaska, since speaking of geography, I'm not sure that a lot of our listeners might know anything.
Can't just like you do for Michigan.
No, yeah. They might know anything about the geography of Alaska. So where actually are you physically located?
Yeah. So if you look at Alaska, the state of Alaska, and if you just put threw a dart to the middle, you'll most likely hit Fairbanks, Alaska. And I'm about 30 minutes southeast of Fairbanks. So that right in the middle. We were probably the most furthest north city before it's just nothing, right? Most people that live north of Fairbanks live in what's called the bush. And so they come to Fairbanks for resupply and then they go back out to the bush. So Fairbanks is kind of the place right in the middle of the map, or the state there. And then Anchorage, most people think we're close. Anchorage is 6 hours at minimum south of Fairbanks, right on the coast there.
I did watch a docu-series one time on life in Alaska, and I'm fascinated by it. But I won't ask you all of the cheesy questions.
No, we did our
But what's
research
it been
walking
like?
docuseries too.
Oh,
Oh,
did you?
oh,
Yeah.
it didn't scare you off. That's good.
So what's it been like adjusting to life in Alaska?
Awesome. We love Alaska. I actually came up as a candidate in 2018 to Eielson,
Oh.
and served here for 30 days. And so I kind of got away with favoritism. No, I didn't. I didn't say that out loud. But they knew I liked being up here, so the Air Force asked me if I would come back. The wing chaplain up here, the lieutenant colonel up here, asked if I could come back. I said yes. And when I came up here in 2018, I just graduated from Fort Wayne, and my dear wife, was hoping for a call to Alaska. We actually were called to Butler, Pennsylvania. And like the week after, the Air Force called me to Alaska for 30 days. And it drove my wife nuts because she wanted to be in Alaska. So I left up here, but it was in the summer I came up here. The summers are beautiful, very beautiful, gorgeous, very picturesque. And the sun stays up 24 hours or 23.7 hours and really only sets on the horizon. So even at night, the daylight is still peering through your windows. So we have what's called blackout curtains, and everybody has them. And we really try to kind of mirror the normal daylight by kind of closing all the windows by like 6 o'clock at night and getting the kids all in the mindset of bedtime. But otherwise, the sun's still poking through. And then even in the winters, the night is about 23.9 hours. And then the sun comes up, kisses the kisses the landscape, and it goes back down behind the trees. So it really rarely comes up above the tree line. And then the cold, in the summer, I think it got up to 90, which was
Wow.
kind of interesting. I wasn't expecting that. It was about 90 for about a week or two, I think. And then it dips back down. So we just kiss the true summer feelings. And then in winter, I've seen, I think the lowest this past winter was negative 44, 45 without wind chill. Yeah. So you do all the frozen tundra things, like throwing boiling water outside and seeing it just turn into mist. Yeah.
So I mean, it's a very interesting description of weather. I'm curious how many like different layers of coats you have. Like, how big is your closet with all of your outdoor gear? I can just imagine.
It's huge, actually. The Air Force has given me 2 sets of overcoats, really big poofy, like the fur-lined hood thing, and then a really big poofy jacket. They give you about 3 pairs of long johns with long sleeves, silkies we call them. I guess it's made of this kind of silky fabric. And then of course your duty uniform, and then your normal t-shirt that you wear under it. And then if you're really working out in the snow, they also give you snow pants, and then they call them bunny boots, which have some outrageous number of the boots. You can like live out in the wilderness in these boots and not feel the cold in your feet.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
So what is the lifestyle like? I mean, there's all the things that we watch on TV with
Yeah.
the survival shows of living out in the middle of nowhere. But what is the lifestyle actually like in that part of Alaska and on base?
Yeah. So imagine every Alaska documentary series you've ever watched and kind of throw that out the window, because I live in a house with a heater. I have hot water. I'm not hunting. I'm going to the grocery store like everybody else to get my food. So I'm not scavenging. I'm not surviving by those means. But you can, for sure. Like, I live on the base. So the base has housing for military members. So we live on the base housing. There's a shopping center here to kind of get your groceries, get your clothes that you need. And then if we go to Fairbanks, which again is about 35 minutes away, there's actually a Costco there. And
Nice.
that's how we measure society and civilization, by if there's a Costco. The next measurement is Trader Joe's. We don't have one of those yet.
That's sad.
But yeah, so there's a Costco. We could get, bulk stuff, and, think it back to my bodybuilding discussion with you. I do eat a lot, so I'm glad there's a Costco here. and we can buy everything, all the amenities over there. Now, if you wanted to live in off base, you could live in, actually, it's called North Pole, Alaska, is just 15 minutes away. And there is a perpetual Santa Claus house that stays open year round. And it's a huge a tourist attraction. So if you're interested, I actually took Bishop Hardy to see Santa Claus at the Santa Claus house. So
took the bishop to see the bishop.
That's right. Meet Saint Nick, Your Excellency. So there's the North Pole, 15 minutes north, and then there's Salcha, which is 15 minutes south. And most of the people who don't live on base live in either one of those two towns. And they would have more or less this kind of Alaska bush experience because they're out in the woods. No one's plowing their snow for them. They got to do it all. And they're off grid. So there's really it's very hard to get Wi-Fi out there. A lot of people have dry cabins where you don't even have water kind of coming through the house. So you have to have they all have outhouses and bring in their water supply, bring in their fuel supply, bring in their wood supply, all these things to kind of maintain their house. And, they live, if they're on the power grid, they live on the power grid of the city over there. So, yeah.
That is fascinating. The fact that you have a Costco is quite impressive too. So how about, how has this been for your family making that adjustment from life in Pennsylvania to life in Alaska? What has that move been like for them, and how are they adapting to life just outside of Fairbanks?
I'm truly blessed. My family loves Alaska. My wife, since I got to come up here and she did it back in 2018, she's really appreciated and enjoyed her time in Alaska. She loves it. The kids love it. I think I was outside yesterday with my one of the two middle kids, and she just wanted, like, can I go play outside? Yes, you can. Let's go. So we suited up and just went outside to play. So we're blessed because my family loves Alaska. There are a lot of folks here at the base not expecting to come up to Alaska as their first assignment or at any assignment point in their career. And they don't like Alaska as much as we do. They don't like the isolation, the darkness, transitioning to kind of get to the cold weather implements for vehicles and bodies. But my kids transition super easily. They don't mind putting on the big bulky clothes. They adjusted really easily to the daytime and nighttime schedule. They just enjoy it up here. They've got friends. They've got a community up here, things to do. So we stay really busy and active.
Well, I can't wait to learn more. We'll continue our conversation with Chaplain Amadeus Gandy at Eielson Air Force Base in Alaska in just a moment. You're listening to The Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Gulseth.
At Concordia University Wisconsin, we believe you were created for a reason: to use your God-given gifts to help others, to live a life of self-sacrifice in a me-first world, to live a life that's uncommon. Whether you're taking one of 50-plus online programs or learning with us in person on the shores of Lake Michigan, you'll be equipped to make an uncommon impact. Learn more at cuw.edu. Concordia University Wisconsin. Live uncommon.
Welcome back to The Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Gulseth.
Today we're talking with Chaplain Amadeus Gandy. He serves at Eielson Air Force Base in Alaska, learning about life in Alaska and moving the whole family to Alaska and how they've adapted to that. Tell us about serving in Alaska as a chaplain.
So serving as a chaplain has been very interesting, challenging, but also very enjoyable and rewarding. It is in some sense how everybody described chaplaincy would be, but it's also not, because if you view the chaplaincy well, like we do, it's a mission field. I'm a missionary here to military service members. And so in my capacity as an ordained clergyman of the Missouri Synod, I act as a missionary to all the Lutherans that are assigned to the wing here at Eielson. And so I still function very much like my brothers out in the civilian parish and still serve all the Lutherans here at the base. through Word and Sacrament ministry. And so I still very much hold on to my Lutheran identity, even though I'm serving in a very pluralistic ecumenical environment. I still get to retain that Lutheranness, if you will.
Who are some of the people that you're able to meet and to talk about Lutheranism with? I know you show up on my Facebook feed a whole bunch, so I get to see all of these pictures and stories that you post about baptisms and confirmation and weddings and all of these things. Who are some of those people that you're able to meet and talk about Lutheranism with?
Yeah, so I've met. So we get the chaplains have access to the base roster, and we get to see when a member joins the military, they declare a religious preference. And so I get to see on the roster who's declared Lutheran, specifically Lutheran Church Missouri Synod. And that is an option. So if any of our brothers and sisters out in the parish right now have children coming into the military, encourage them to declare Lutheran Church Missouri Synod on their roster or on their application. Because then I can see them and I can directly reach out to them and call them and see how I might be able to serve them. A big thing is that I act as a, if you will, augmentee to our civilian brothers out in the parish. So Fairbanks does have an LCMS parish out there, Zion Lutheran Church, served by Father Carlson out there. And however, because of the Arctic environment and climate, 35 minutes doesn't sound that bad in the lower 48, but up here it's miserable to drive 35 minutes just to a city for 1 hour and then have to drive all the way back. And so I augment what he's doing out there by serving the Lutherans here. And this is kind of still very much in development, but he and I are planning on trying to establish a plant out in Salcha to kind of more serve this community down here. So that's another story. But the intent is to still serve them in the word sacrament capacity. So I meet military members from all over the 40. I baptized one of our members here who's from Minnesota, another one from Fort Wayne, another one from Nevada. And so when they come over here, I get to connect with them and learn about them and show them that I'm here to serve them. So I've got to baptize one of their babies. I've wedded a couple of folks. I've got to serve the sacrament, leading confirmation. And so still very much acting in the capacity I would otherwise be in the civilian world. These folks all reach out back to me and want to stay connected as a community here at the base as well.
What does the day-to-day look like for Chaplain Gandy? What's a typical day like?
So that rhythm, that ritual helps me and my family kind of stay grounded in our kind of Lutheran identity, our Christian identity. And I say that because a lot of people can lose that mindset when they get into the chaplaincy. We get very busy here at the wing. It's a military operation here at the wing to prepare our troops for any global need that might pop up. And so we're preparing in an Arctic environment to support an Arctic mission up here. And so the day-to-day reflects our ability to mobilize our fighter wing. We are a fighter wing. We have fighter jets, the F-35 fighter jet. We've got about 50 or so of them. And then we also have F-16s up here. And so if you're not awake by 6:30, 7 o'clock, you'll wake up to an alarm clock that we call the sound of freedom up here. And it's afterburners kicking off at 7 o'clock in the morning for all these jets taking off. And so you get to literally wake up to the sound of freedom. So you wake up to the sound of freedom, get ready for the day. I try to do PT in the morning, so physical training in the morning. I try to get that done around 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning so I can get back to the house by about 6:30. Let Britta and the kids all get ready for the day too. And then at 7:30, we have matins. I do have a chapel in my house. And I don't know if you want to get into that, but we've got a chapel in my house. And so we pray matins together as a family every morning, 7:30. And then I'm out the door by 8 o'clock to go to the office. And the base does have a chapel, which is kind of interesting. Uncle Sam builds a temple, if you will, on the base. And it's governed and owned by Uncle Sam, but nonetheless, it's a chapel that serves the religious community here at the base. And so at the chapel, we have the offices. So I sit here at the office with 4 other chaplains. Let's see, an evangelical guy, 2 Assemblies of God, and then I can't remember what the other one is. But they also have their, we call it endorsement. They have their religious background, denominational background. And then I get to the computer, check the emails, and most of the tasks that we get as chaplain are kind of religious support out on the flight line. And that could be prayers out there, that could be Bible studies, that could be walking through the units, what we call a unit engagement. That could be hosting spiritual resilience events for some of the troops out here. We do quite a bit of counseling. And so from, I say 8 o'clock to kind of 9 o'clock, I'm looking at my calendar for the week and really starting to put in my appointments for all of these things. Chaplains act as advisors to the leadership here at the wing. And so we advise them on spiritual matters, religious matters, but also kind of morale matters as well. And so to gauge that morale level, we hit the units and then hang out with the units, do the things that they do, schedule meetings, presentations, briefings with them to kind of gauge that assessment. And then we share that with commanders so they can know what to do and support the men and women that are serving out here. And then most of us are usually clocked out by 4:30 in the afternoon, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And then it's chilling at home with the family.
I am curious about the chapel you have in your house. I've seen pictures of it. What do you use that for? And why is that important to you to have that space in your own home?
Yeah. So the chapel at the base serves as a kind of multifunctional worship space for all the different religions that are represented at the wing. There is, however, one small room in that base chapel called the Blessed Sacrament Room, and it serves mainly the Roman Catholic community, and it acts as a permanent place for them. Now, in the military, we are not supposed to have kind of permanent religious structures or permanent religious representation in the chapel because we serve in that ecumenical, pluralistic environment. But in the history of the Roman Catholic chaplains in the chaplain corps, have been given that space, that permanent space for the Roman Catholic community at the wing. And this has been for many, many, many years. So it's not like it just happened yesterday. But because it's been in their history and tradition to have this space, and because most of the base population are Roman Catholic, and because the chaplain serves or celebrates daily mass or offers more daily consistent things, that space is provided for them on a 24/7 basis. Now I'm kind of jealous of that because I have to set up my mass. I have to take it down. I have to set it up, take it down, set it up, take it down. So I wanted something that was a little bit more permanent. But I can't have anything at the chapel just yet. We'll see. But I can't have anything as permanent as, say, the Roman Catholics have with the Blessed Sacrament Room. When my family and I moved into this house, this is a much bigger house, and I say that as a blessing, than we could have ever imagined. Many people tell us they're going to come visit us in Alaska, but we kind of know they won't because it's kind of costly to get up here. So there's a spare bedroom in our house, and instead of turning it into a spare bedroom or for guests, my wife and I decided to convert it into our permanent chapel where we can serve our family and the community, the Lutheran community here at the base in that chapel. And they will always have a space where they can go to be in the presence of God 24/7 at any point of their time here at Eielson. And so that's what that chapel has become. And I've continued to add things to it as I'm able to kind of make it more homey for us. And by us, I mean Lutheran community. So I've celebrated some of the daily weekday feast days there. I invite the Lutheran community to come and to join me in those. We have confirmation there. We have midweek vespers there. And so that space has become a very, very nice, intimate setting for me and the Lutheran community that's here at the wing. Long answer.
Great answer.
Yeah.
Great answer. What's been the best thing about chaplaincy in Alaska? What do you love most about being a chaplain there?
Have you ever touched an F-35?
Not.
I can't
I
say
don't
that
think I have.
So I think the best part is the challenges of meeting people where they are. In our local communities, we kind of get a sense of the diversity of where people are in their, more or less, quote unquote, walk of faith. And we kind of get an idea of what are the needs, specific needs of that community. But the interesting thing about the military community, as much as you can say, I know exactly what military people need, it's constantly changing. People are moving in, moving out. It's people live here at the base for only 2, 3, 4 years at the most, and then you get a new group of folks that come through, and the old group leaves, and I leave, and so it's constantly changing. And so, learning about the different people, their understandings of the Christian faith, and being able to navigate some of the things they grew up with, like someone who's never heard of Ash Wednesday. Like, how can you be a Christian and not know what Ash Wednesday is? And so I get to offer that. This Wednesday, I'm celebrating a Ash Wednesday service here for the whole wing. And I still get to retain my Lutheran identity. It's going to be from LSB or TLH, I think of TLH. And people get to ask questions, and I get to engage them with the background that they have and answer some of those things. So the challenge, I really enjoy the challenge.
Well, I've enjoyed learning about your life as a chaplain serving at Eielson Air Force Base. I think we probably have about a dozen more questions, but we're all out of time.
Yes.
So I guess we'll have to just chat again in the future. Chaplain Amadeus Gandy, LCMS Chaplain at Eielson Air Force Base in Alaska. Thanks so much for being our guest on the Coffee Hour today.
Thank you so much for having me.
You've been listening to the Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Gulseth.
The Coffee Hour with Andy and Sarah is a production of KFUO. To support the Coffee Hour and KFUO Radio, visit kfuo.org. You can also text KFUO to 41444 or send an email to gifts@kfuo.org. And you can call us at 800-844-0524. KFUO. Christ for you, anytime, anywhere.